Welcome to the executive life. I am so excited about this conversation. The executive life is not about a role, it's about a mindset. It's about talking to real women leaders about everyday subjects to look behind the curtain and see them and hopefully ourselves too in the conversation. Today, we are talking about confidence. So, as I get this party started, let me define what confidence is, just big picture dictionary definition. Confidence it means feeling sure of yourself and your abilities, not in an arrogant way, but in a realistic, secure way. So I'm going to start the conversation by asking you, Sam, how do you define confidence for yourself?
I think for myself, it's really just leaning into what skills I already have and making sure that I feel comfortable um, talking about those, expressing those, and using those in everyday conversations and in my workplace.
Hmm. Morgan, well, how do you define confidence?
I think that I define confidence as security in myself within the context that I find myself in. So if it's as a business owner, secure in the fact that I know what it is that I'm doing. If it's as a mother, secure in the fact that I am doing the best that I can and I am doing what is right for my child. As a wife, secure in the fact that my husband does love me. I'm not a terrible person. He wants to be with me. And what can I be doing to actively, make sure that the relationship is good? So just like security, I think for me is how I kind of translate confidence. If I'm not secure, I don't typically feel as confident.
Janie, how do you define confidence?
Yeah, to me, confidence is a lot about kind of putting in the work to make sure that I'm sure of what I know, but also being willing and upfront about what I don't know, and being eager to learn from somebody else.
So, this subject, I'm sure, has some type of impact on your personal lives, your professional lives. So, Janie, let me start with you. How does confidence show up personally, professionally for you?
So, as a speech therapist, a lot of confidence, when I look at that during my workday, I'm really trying to build confidence in other people, whether that be my coworkers or other students. And I've found that that dramatically increases the success I have at work, either collaborating with other professionals or in pushing my kids to remediate their goals and the language disorders that they have.
Wow. Personally, does it show up just, I don't know, family, friends, just living life? How does it show up?
All the time, I feel like I'm really big on kind of investing in people, and making sure that whoever I'm around, I have a really good relationship with them. And I feel like building that confidence in other people personally makes them feel more comfortable around me and more secure, like you said, Morgan, in where they stand.
Wow, wow. Sam, Samantha, how do you use or how does confidence show up for you personally and professionally?
I think for me personally, confidence is really just like the encompassing of all of my relationships. I feel very secure in all of them and who I surround myself with. So being in relation with other people who I know like our relationship is solid makes me more confident in those relationships. And then I would hope in the inverse does the same for them as well. As a young leader, I would say confidence is faking it till you make it. I went from leading a very small team to leading a very large team. I don't know what I'm doing most days, but I think, like Janie said earlier, it's also being upfront about, hey, I don't know what I'm doing here. I don't know this information. Please help me learn and help me grow in these areas.
So I wonder, just to piggyback on what you just said, do you think that I'm going to ask you first, Sam, that the number of years in the professional world, professionally speaking, about confidence, is there a correlation? Is it something do you see that has been, for example, developed as you have led more and more professionally, or is it something different than that?
I think it's it's both. And I think that you can have confidence as you grow in your leadership skills, but that's not always the case. You can also be a leader of 30, 40 years and also be a very insecure leader who like doesn't really know what they're doing. I think it's how you apply your skills and how you develop yourself that's going to determine where your confidence grows and flourishes.
Okay. And then, Janie, what about you? Do you see that there's a correlation between the number of years that you've been in a leadership position or the number of years you've been a professional in confidence? Or is it something different for you?
I do think there's a huge correlation. I think in a lot of ways, when there's not a lot of confidence in those leaders, it doesn't make a very good leader. At least in the world of speech therapy and what I've experienced. And I do think because I'm confident in being able to say, hey, I don't know this. Can you help me? And then kind of being like, hey, this is an area I struggle, but let's move forward and being willing to learn. I think that form of confidence can really put you in higher and higher positions of leadership.
Wow. Wow. Morgan, what about you? I mean, over the years, confidence, how has it, is there a correlation between the number of years that we do what we do and your confidence level or not?
I actually don't think it's so much the number of years as it is the various types of experiences and how willing I have been to fully invest in the experience. Meaning, like, if it's getting up on stage and presenting and doing those types of things, like how willing I have been to experience it to then kind of get that underneath my belt. But I will also say, I feel like back when I was younger and was working in a lab, didn't know everything, about what there was to know about chemistry and things of that nature, but was able to move confidently in the things that I knew I was good at. So organizing the lab, keeping notes better, just those types of things. And what I found was that even though my lab boss was significantly older than me, that was intimidating. And so I feel like the number of years doesn't matter so much as it does as how, quite frankly, confident you are in the different aspects of what you face on a day-to-day basis and how willing you are to improve in the area if it's something that you want to improve in.
Good, 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 good.
Yeah.
So let's talk rapid round. Life lessons. What have you learned, Janie, about confidence?
I think really building that confidence in other people is kind of the biggest piece for me, and how that relates to life. I really feel like when you make somebody feel confident around you and secure around you, it builds your relationship and makes it even stronger. And I feel like people see that, look at you as a leader when you do that for them. And I feel, especially personally, um, when you're making friends or anything like that, collaborating with other professionals, I think that's a huge piece. And really like building those relationships. And then at work too, I feel like that has gotten me in positions that I didn't even ask for, I didn't even see coming. And they're like, well, you work so well with other people. And I think it's just making sure people feel confident and secure enough around you to go to you for help and things like that.
Wow, wow. Sam, life lessons, confidence.
I think the two big ones. The first is that confidence also has a lot to do with vulnerability. And so you have to be able to be vulnerable with either your colleagues or in your relationships to say, help me so that I can help you, or help me so that we can do this together, or whatever it is. And then you will be more confident in whatever task you're looking to accomplish because you have the knowledge behind it. And then I think the second thing is that confidence grows by just doing whatever the thing is. So you might not be confident the first time you speak on stage, but hopefully by the 120th time you speak on stage, like you would have become more confident because would have done it so many times.
Wow. Morgan, any life lessons?
I would say that confidence also comes from knowing yourself. it's really difficult to lean into strengths if you don't know what they are. It's difficult to lean into the value that you specifically bring to situations if you don't know what it is. And so being able to be okay regardless of the situation, a lot of that comes from knowing who you are, knowing what you contribute, and then again knowing where you don't shine, knowing where you have weaknesses, and being able to say, hey, that's outside of my scope of being able to do it. I can try, I can learn, but this is where I shine, this is where I don't. And it's easier to just be okay with that when you know that. It's really difficult if you don't know, to be confident, to be honest with you.
Okay. I'm going to throw in a curveball question. Sam, is confidence a feeling or a skill?
I would say that confidence is a skill because you can develop it and you can fake it and you can fake skills.
Janie, is confidence a feeling or a skill?
I agree. I think it's a skill because you can kind of work at it and have a little bit more control over it. But I think there is a feeling that plays a part into it and how secure or not you feel. Um, so I feel like it could be a little bit of a mix.
Finally, Morgan, life lesson, excuse me, decisions that have been made based on your confidence or lack thereof, or advice that you might have for someone who's thinking about building confidence.
I think my main thing is just going to be to learn yourself. I can't say it any other way. I know for me, there are things that I have not done because I just don't want to, because I think that I won't be good at it. And so it's not, I guess for me, it's having the conversation between, am I not confident in this skill, or do I just not want to do this thing? Does that make sense? And
Yes.
so again, I just kind of go back to like having conversations with yourself about truly understanding, like kind of parsing and splitting hairs. Like, what is it really that's holding me back from doing X, Y, and Z? Do I truly feel incapable of doing something? If yes, what can I do to do that? Or do I just not want to do it? And if I just don't want to do it, either, girl, you're going to have to get over yourself and do it, or it's a situation where you can say, I'm just not going to because I don't want to. So I think that's kind of something that I've learned about confidence. There are things where it's like, it might be perceived on the outside like, oh, you don't want to do this because you don't have confidence. And it's like, well, maybe I just don't want to. So understanding for myself where that line is, I think has been it's been a game changer, really.
Janie, advice that you have either received or want to give as it relates to confidence?
I feel like the best advice I could even think of when it comes to confidence is that building it in other people really makes a huge difference. And I feel like I've said that a lot now. But since I get to work in a middle school, middle schoolers lack a lot of confidence, just in general. And when I have to be the person who they have to come to for speech therapy and they have to miss their favorite class, they hate me and they don't want to work on their goals. They don't want to work on anything. But when I can show them like, hey, this is why you're working on this. And it's okay. You don't have to be perfect at it. You don't even get a grade with me. We're just practicing. I'm trying to help you be a better communicator, and kind of make them feel confident right where they are. I see them being way more willing to work. They're open. They feel secure at baseline, and they work out of that confidence rather than trying to earn a sense of confidence. So I feel like kind of developing that in people around you works too. I think it's easy to see in middle school, but I think we can do that with everybody around us too.
I can't let you go without like tapping into that one more thing for the parents of middle schoolers who are listening to this. What advice would you give them to build confidence in their middle schoolers?
I really think that meeting middle schoolers right where they are, kind of getting down to their level, into their drama, and kind of validating it almost, I think gives them a lot of confidence of like, oh, you're not just writing me off. I'm not just crazy. I'm not dramatic. And you're kind of trying to understand from their point of view, even if it is crazy. or just ridiculous, which a lot of times it is. I think that gives them the confidence to want to come to you for advice and really look up to you and value what you have to say.
Wow, wow, wow. Sam, life lesson that you'd like to share with someone or advice that you would give them, or maybe something you've learned yourself?
I think that for confidence, you don't have to rely solely on yourself to develop it. You can ask others, like, what areas am I good in? What areas am I not good in? And then you can put in the work to build up your skills, to build up your confidence in those areas. You don't have to operate in a silo. We as humans don't operate in silos. So use your network, use your friends, use your colleagues to help fill in the gaps that you might think that there are.
Following up on that one last thing, how do you get the confidence to ask? Am I good at something or am I not good at something? I mean, that's a big vulnerable thing, big you're out there kind of thing. What would you say to people who are like, oh, do you
I
just
mean,
ask any and everybody, or do you have some more tailored response to the asking others for that?
I would say in your relationships, ask the people who are closest to you. They're going to tell you the truth, or they will lie to you, and that's a separate issue. I would say that at work, the great thing is we live in this kind of weird digital age where you don't have to face a lot of people in the day to day if you don't want to. So send an email to whomever you feel is your work bestie, your work confidant, and say, hey, like, I want to grow as a leader. I want to grow as a professional. Can you and I sit down and just like chat about me at work? You don't have to say, what skills am I bad at? What skills am I good at? You can just say, like, my work overall, what do you think about it? What are your thoughts on how I'm doing? Like, you can phrase it and you can frame it as not a hard and fast check-in, as more of just a, hey, friendly touch base. Is everything okay here?
Love it. Love it. Great conversation, ladies. Fantastic.
All right, well, that's all we have time for today. These conversations support our mission to build leaders that people actually want to follow. You can visit our website at kitinstitute.org to register for our next live experience, and we hope to see you there. See you next time.
Bye.